Walter Freiberg, tell me about your vision.
What I see in the future, in my future, and in the future of the world, is people really learning in a variety of languages and really empowered to live the life of their dreams, including learning about what they really care about, creating the future they want to live, and doing that regardless of the culture, the country they're living in, the language, creating their best version of themselves and not letting borders get in the way of creating that. That's what I want to create.
I love that. And as we got to know each other right before this show, we've never met before. We've been, guys, everybody listening in, we started talking 14 minutes ago, 14 minutes and 40 seconds. And I was just blown away by the depth of this man. And reading about how he collects his thoughts, how he helps people move towards greatness by turning towards goodness and turning towards depth, play versus, going after and just crushing things. There's so many things that I was like, whoa. I got to get Walter on here for a much, much bigger show and episode for all of our sakes. He's got some serious depth, guys, and I don't say that lightly. So, Walter, let's dive into some of that depth. Where did your vision come from?
Um, I think that it all started when I got passionate about languages in my teenage years. I was born in Buenos Aires, Argentina. And to me, language and English in the first place was an opportunity to create something new for myself. And I took private classes, private lessons. I was fortunate that when I was a teenager, my parents could afford that. And then after that, in my early 20s, I took the full responsibility on my learning. And that was a bridge to get into creating my online business, entrepreneurship, creating products and services for people. And ultimately, that was creating a new identity for myself in a different language. And then I did that again and again in other languages. So it came from, um, now that I see it, a desire to reinvent myself in a
Mm.
new language.
Whoa, that's huge. As somebody who speaks Spanish myself as well, I know what that reinvention process can feel like. And I also want to give a huge shout out to my personal coach, Fletcher Ellingson, because Fletcher, he has helped me also recognize and understand this power of language that is so often overlooked and taken for granted a little bit. So we're gonna come right back. We're gonna dive in a little bit deeper on this episode, guys, and then I'm gonna do everything I can to get Walter to come back again and again because we got too much fun to explore. This is gonna be awesome. All right, welcome in to Vision Pros Live with Jackson Callum. I'm your show host. We will be doing interviews for visionary entrepreneurs and guest leaders who are building fantastic visions out there. Vision Pros, I got to give a shout out to all those in the audience who are looking at this, listening, and going, you know what? Wait a second. We're supposed to be interviewing Walter Freiberg, but Jackson's bringing up a competitor. Well, great leaders don't see competitors as an enemy. They see the opportunity for correlation. And I use that for all of you to be able to assess and evaluate, wait, how do I put this situation and this person in a box that's appropriate and secure for me? So while Walter and I are at the very beginning stage of figuring out who we are, how we correlate, I can say that I see the types of leadership attributes and traits of Fletcher Ellingson, of Simon Sinek, of Patrick Lencioni, John Maxwell, to me, the greats of the greats. And it creates a huge curiosity in me. I'm like, okay, Walter, again, where'd you figure all this out? How'd you move so far along this path so fast? But I'm going to derail all those questions for future episodes. And I'm going to start with a question that I don't hear enough people lean into asking. You have a why that's strong. You wouldn't have learned languages if you didn't. And you're about reinventing yourself in those other languages. You went on that path and journey. But what's the story behind the why? Well, what led you to want to do that?
I love that question, Jackson. And it all started with difficulties and challenges on my own learning. It started with a struggle to learn and to learn how to learn. In my early 20s, I was studying psychology at a university level, and I was feeling like I was going through the motions. I was passing exams, and I wasn't really learning, and I wasn't getting much from that. So I had my crisis moment, a learning crisis, when I was in university. And when I think of my passion of learning and empowering learners, that's one of the big moments in my life when I found out that I could really take responsibility for my own learning. And if I wanted to create something and become a person that I admired, that was on me. And that was something that I really needed to take care uh, on. And that was something that I needed to work on myself. And it's not something that I could delegate, or it's not something that the university would do for me, or just passing exams or getting good grades. Like, I needed to take ownership of that. So
Mm.
that's how it all started, and that's what I wanted to provide or help support others with.
Now that's awesome. You led right into my next question, which is okay. How are you utilizing that to help and support others? We'll go into the house since we know that's what you want to do is help and support others. So, how do you go about that, and how can others begin to lean into the process of being ready for the type of help you provide?
I started helping people with that with ebooks, and I wrote a series of creator readers for Spanish learners. I started writing them in 2012, so that was more than
Wow.
10 years ago. And that was the first vehicle that I found to support others in their learning. And then I'm being a piano teacher, and now I'm a coach. I'm a life and language coach. And so I think that what's been most valuable for me in getting started on this path is being around people who saw possibility in me. And that's something that I would recommend
Mm.
for others who want to become someone new, or maybe create a new version of themselves. And that can take many forms. Sometimes it's a mentor or a coach or a teacher, somebody we admire. And usually it's being around somebody who inspired us, or a group can take many forms. And usually for me, it's being a social element there.
I love that, and I would just double down on that. Somebody's, it's I'm looking at this picture behind me of LeBron James, and I find it sad when some visionaries talk to me and they're like, I already have a coach. And you know how many coaches that guy has? On all the different aspects of his life. And two, the most successful people in the world, they're typically surrounded by communities. Taylor Welch said it really well. He said that a weak person in a strong environment will outperform a strong person in a weak environment. And so the environment is who we surround ourselves with, how we uplift ourselves, super, super important. That's why I'm incredibly grateful for Walter having come across my path. I'm like giddy. It's like a birthday present of the day, or the Christmas present of the day is getting to meet you, Walter. So thank you for being here. Vision Pros, those of you listening in, we'd love to have you join us on the show as well. You don't have to be somebody that makes me feel like it's my birthday. I'll still be excited to meet you and see you. On the top right corner, there's a button up there. It says "Be Our Guest." Come and try this. Come and jump on stage and talk about your visions. And if you're looking for a wise mentor and somebody who is going to help you maximize the purpose in this life, then I would definitely put Walter in the deck of people that you interview and explore that with. Walter, can I get you back on the stage at some point?
I would be delighted. Please, let's do
Awesome.
that. Yeah.
Awesome, man. I'm excited for it. Vision Pros, we will see you guys on the next episode. Stay inspired, everybody. Thank you for being here today. I'm really happy that you tuned in to Vision Pros Live. I'm looking forward to seeing your reactions as these episodes continue to move forward. This is going to get more and more fun. We'll have more and more engagement as well. We'll invite people to participate in the show. And thank you for giving us your time and attention. Have an excellent time building out your vision and becoming a Vision Pro yourself.